Historically, my organization has participated in the World Social Forum process. And over the past 3-4 years, climate change and questions of the environment have started dominating debates in the World Social Forum. It started with Belém in 2009. In Dakar last year, question of climate change was extremely present. And in the coming months, we'll see a sort of emerging, developing between what we can call the global justice movement and the climate justice movement. And when we're talking about scenarios of doom and gloom, yes, it's true. Things aren't exactly fantastic on the planet, we know. We see the international negotiation process breaking down, if not being derailed. But there's one ray of light, and that is that the social movements on the globe are beginning to take that issue seriously and mobilizing around it. And I think it's one of the only optimistic things that we can see in what is developing right now in the world. And interestingly enough, we will see that beginning to come to a head at Rio +20. What is interesting with Rio is not only that you will have heads of state there discussing what to do about climate change, but also the fact that the Brazilian social movements have decided to convene a people summit at Rio during the negotiations with the explicit purpose of influencing the negotiations, for the implicit purpose of moving them forward, with the implicit purpose of saying you've derailed the negotiations up to now, special interests, corporate elite, we've got to move them forward, and the only way to move them forward is have people who have been mobilized historically to defend their rights, their social rights, also mobilizing themselves on issue of climate and in the environment. The idea here will be to bring to that process, to bring to the discussion and the negotiations people who have experience in fighting for social justice. The idea is this, is that climate change is not just a technological question, it's also a social question. And if you want to solve it, you have to deal with social change, you have to change social structures, and you have to involve those who are directly affected by it. We are all concerned by it. It's not only a corporate issue, it's not only a diplomatic issue, it's not only a technocratic issue, it's not only a technological issue, it's fundamentally a social issue, and social change will be brought by social people getting mobilized and moved. And if we can do that, if we can mobilize the trade unions, the community groups, the student organizations, the environmental organizations, and if we can develop a program of linking local issues with international issues, of linking an inside and an outside strategy, I think we have a hope. I think we have a chance of being able to change things. Otherwise, the only other scenario is the scenario of doom and gloom. But I think if we want to opt for one possible scenario, one possible strategy before heading for the exit, is to count and hope that the social movements and us mobilizing with the social movement can affect serious change and can change the way things are going. So hopefully Rio +20 will be an affirmation of that. And hopefully Durban will be a step towards that. We heard from Pat Mooney this morning. We heard from Madame the High Commissioner for South Africa. You saw the low expectation that they have towards Durban, if not the outright pessimism in the case of Pat Mooney. Stephen, who's one of the best-known experts, I think, on international negotiations, was quite clear before when he said, we don't know what can be achieved at Durban. We don't know what can be achieved at Rio. And it's true. I don't think we can expect that much to come out of these two negotiations, but if we can count on one thing, which is on a greater mobilization of the social movements, and on this mobilization having an impact internally, then we are a step ahead. If we can bring the spirit that Stephen, that Maud Barlow from the Council of Canadians, that Tom Goldtooth from the Indigenous Environmental Network showed this morning, and bring this to Rio, and bring back the spirit here, then I think this is the way forward. Thank you very much.